The sad ending to James Cagney. What happened to this actor? James Francis Cagney Jr. was an American actor and dancer. On stage and in film, Cagney was known for his consistently energetic performances, distinctive vocal style, and deadpan comic timing. He won acclaim and major awards for a wide variety of performances. He is remembered for playing multifaceted tough guys in films such as The Public Enemy, 1931, Taxi, 1932, Angels with Dirty Faces, 1938, The Roaring Twenties, 1939, City of Conquest, 1940, and White Heat, 1949. Finding himself typecast or limited by this reputation earlier in his career, he was able to negotiate dancing opportunities in his films and ended up winning the Academy Award for his role in the musical Yankee Doodle Dandy, 1942. In 1999, the American Film Institute ranked him 8th among its list of the greatest male stars of the golden age of Hollywood. Orson Welles described Cagney as maybe the greatest actor who ever appeared in front of a camera. James Francis Jimmy Cagney was born in 1899 on the Lower East Side of Manhattan in New York City. His father, James Francis Cagney Sr., was of Irish descent. His mother was Carolyn Elizabeth Nelson. Her father was a Norwegian ship's captain, and her mother was Irish. Cagney was the second of 7 children, 2 of whom died within months of their birth. He was sickly as an infant, so much so that his mother feared he would die before he could be baptized. He later attributed his sickly health to the poverty his family endured. The family moved twice while he was still young, first to East 79th Street and then to East 96th Street. The red-haired, blue-eyed Cagney graduated from Stuyvesant High School in New York City in 1918 and attended Columbia College, where he intended to major in art. He also took German and joined the Student Army Training Corps, but he dropped out after 1 semester, returning home upon the death of his father during the 1918 flu pandemic. Cagney held a variety of jobs early in his life: junior architect, copy boy for the New York Sun, book custodian at the New York Public Library, bellhop, and night doorkeeper. He gave all his earnings to his family. While Cagney was working for the New York Public Library, he met Florence James, who helped him into an acting career. He was a good street fighter, too, defending his older brother Harry, who was a medical student, when necessary. He engaged in amateur boxing and was a runner-up for the New York State lightweight title. His coach encouraged him to turn professional, but his mother wouldn't allow it. He also played semi-professional baseball for a local team and entertained dreams of playing in the major league. His introduction to films was unusual. When visiting an aunt who lived in Brooklyn, opposite Vitagraph Studios, Cagney would climb over the fence to watch the filming of John Bunny movies. He became involved in amateur dramatics, starting as a scenery boy for a Chinese pantomime at Lenox Hill Neighborhood House, one of the first settlement houses in the nation, where his brother Harry performed and Florence James directed. He was initially content working behind the scenes and had no interest in performing. One night, however, Harry became ill, and although Cagney was not an understudy, his photographic memory of rehearsals enabled him to stand in for his brother without making a single mistake. Cagney's breakthrough role in films came in 1931 because of Warner Brothers' succession of gangster movie hits, in particular Little Caesar with Edward G. Robinson, culminating in the 1931 film The Public Enemy. Due to the strong reviews he had received in his short film career, Cagney was cast as nice guy Matt Doyle, opposite Edward Woods as Tom Powers. However, after the initial rushes, the actors switched roles. Years later, Joan Blondell recalled that a few days into the filming, director William Wellman turned to Cagney and said, "Now you're the lead, kid." Jimmy's charisma was so outstanding, she added. The film cost only $151,000 to make, but it became one of the first low-budget films to gross $1 million. Cagney received widespread praise for his performance. The New York Herald Tribune described his interpretation as the most ruthless, unsentimental appraisal of the meanness of a petty killer the cinema has yet devised. He received top billing after the film, but while he acknowledged the importance of the role to his career, he always disputed the suggestion that it changed the way heroes and leading men were portrayed. He cited Clark Gable's slapping of Barbara Stanwyck 6 months earlier in Night Nurse as more important. Night Nurse was actually released 3 months after Public Enemy. Gable punched Stanwyck's character in the film, knocking the nurse unconscious. Many critics view the scene in which Cagney pushes half a grapefruit into Mae Clark's face as one of the most famous moments in movie history. James Cagney continued acting up until 1961. After the filming of Billy Wilder's 1, 2, 3, he began a 20-year self-imposed retirement. While at Coldwater Canyon in 1977, Cagney had a minor stroke. After he spent 2 weeks in the hospital, Zimmerman became his full-time caregiver, traveling with Billy Vernon and him wherever they went. After the stroke, Cagney was no longer able to undertake many of his favorite pastimes, including horseback riding and dancing, and as he became more depressed, he even gave up painting. Encouraged by his wife and Zimmerman, Cagney accepted an offer from the director Milos Forman to star in a small but pivotal role in the film Ragtime, 1981. Cagney made a rare TV appearance in the lead role of the movie Terrible Joe Moran in 1984. This was his last role. Cagney's health was fragile, and more strokes had confined him to a wheelchair. But the producers worked his real-life mobility problems into the story. They also decided to dub his impaired speech using the impersonator Rich Little. The film made use of fight clips from Cagney's boxing movie Winner Take All, 1932. Sadly, James Cagney died of a heart attack at his Dutchess County farm in Sanford, New York, on Easter Sunday, 1986. He was 86 years old.